Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif met Chinese Premier Li Chang in Beijing on Friday. They agreed to protect the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project from its critics. During a weekly press briefing, Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch said the two leaders had delegation-level talks this morning. The Prime Minister's 5-day visit to China is almost over.
The delegation level talks were followed by an MOU signing ceremony where 23 MOUs and agreements were signed on deepening cooperation in transport infrastructure, industry, energy, agriculture, media, health, water, socio-economic development, and others of mutual interest. Since his arrival in China, the Prime Minister has held several meetings with Chinese investors and business persons to discuss and explore investment opportunities in Pakistan.
This is PM Shehbaz's first trip to China after the February 8 elections, and it will likely mark the start of the second phase of CPEC. The visit has caused a delay in the annual federal budget, which is now expected to be presented on June 12th instead of the first week of June. An UNRWA shelter in Gaza housing up to 6,000 people was attacked by Israeli forces on Thursday, resulting in the deaths of 35 to 45 people, many of whom were children, according to UNRWA spokeswoman Tamara Al-Rifai. The shelter, originally a school, had been serving as a refuge for those repeatedly displaced by the ongoing conflict in Gaza. New Zealand has announced it will make its annual $1 million payment to UNRWA in the upcoming days. This decision follows a thorough review of the UN's response to allegations against some UNRWA staff involved in the October 7 terrorist attacks on Israel, according to Foreign Minister Winston Peters. The payment also reflects assurances from the UN Secretary General regarding steps to ensure UNRWA's neutrality. In related events, several Palestinians were killed and injured in an Israeli bombing targeting a house near Al-Shama Mosque in the Zaytoun neighborhood of Gaza City. Concurrently, the Palestine Red Crescent Society has relocated its Al-Quds Field Hospital from Mawasi Rafah to the Mawasi Khan Yunis area, ensuring continued medical operations. Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has called for a reduction in humanitarian aid to Gaza and withholding fuel from the area. He stated that Israel should only provide humanitarian aid in exchange for equivalent actions from Gaza, emphasizing the need to safeguard Israel's future. Efforts to reopen the Rafah crossing have stalled after US, Egyptian, and Israeli officials failed to reach an agreement. Israel rejected the Palestinian Authority's involvement in operating the Gaza side of the crossing, which remains closed. Egypt has also refused to open the crossing until it is under Palestinian control. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's recent comments opposing PA involvement contradict the war cabinet's earlier policy. Since the conflict began on October 7, at least 36,731 people have been killed and 83,530 wounded in Gaza, according to the enclave's health ministry. In the past 24 hours alone, 77 Palestinians were killed and 221 wounded. A US-based defense think tank reports that Hamas remains confident in its ability to withstand Israel's military actions in Gaza. Meanwhile, Benny Gantz, a member of Israel's war cabinet, is expected to resign from the emergency government on Saturday after setting a deadline for developing a clear plan for victory in Gaza. Lastly, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is expected to visit Israel early next week, as reported by the Israel Hayom newspaper. India's Narendra Modi was formally elected by lawmakers of the National Democratic Alliance as Prime Minister for a historic third consecutive term. Modi will meet President Draupadi Murmu to present his claim to form a new government, with the swearing-in set for Sunday evening, according to a spokesperson for one of his allies. For the first time in a decade, Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party required the support of regional parties to form the government. The BJP secured 240 seats in the lower house of parliament, falling short of the 272 needed to govern alone. The NDA won 293 seats, while the India Alliance led by Rahul Gandhi's Congress Party won over 230 seats. This reliance on coalition partners has shifted the political dynamics significantly. Indian media reports suggest that BJP allies are eyeing the post of Speaker in the lower house, while the BJP is expected to retain key ministries such as Foreign Affairs, Defense, Home, and Finance. The coalition negotiations mark a return to pre 2014 dynamics, with alliance partners negotiating positions and benefits. As the new government takes shape, the opposition is also making headlines. Meanwhile, an Indian court granted bail to opposition leader Rahul Gandhi on Friday in the latest defamation case against him. Gandhi, 53, has faced several legal cases brought by members of the ruling BJP and was briefly disqualified from parliament last year following a criminal libel conviction. This legal pressure on Gandhi has been a point of contention among political observers. Previously, Gandhi was sentenced to 2 years in prison in a separate case in Gujarat but avoided jail after appealing to India's top court, which suspended his conviction. This suspension also reversed his disqualification from parliament, allowing him to continue his political activities amid ongoing legal challenges. The current case arises from advertisements by Gandhi's Congress party accusing the BJP of corruption in infrastructure projects in Karnataka state. Gandhi has not been in custody over this charge and was granted bail during a brief procedural hearing, confirmed by Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala. These legal battles highlight the contentious nature of Indian politics today. Critics accuse Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP of using the justice system to target political rivals. US think tank Freedom House noted the BJP's increased use of government institutions against political opponents. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, a member of a broad opposition alliance led by Congress, was jailed earlier this year in a grave investigation but was briefly bailed for election campaigning. This pattern of legal actions against opposition leaders underscores the intense political climate as Modi begins his third term.